Welcome to Subramani. This is the checklist of what you should be doing 1 year before retirement. I've done a 5 year, I've done a 3 year. They were not so efficient. Maybe I'll redo them. But here is what you have to do 1 year before retirement. So, first of all, realize that maybe 18 June 2024 or 18 June 2023 or something like that is your date of retirement. So you have 12 months or 11 months or 23 months, whatever to go. So what are the steps that you have to take? Step one, make a checklist of what all you think you will need for retirement. So right, so that checklist, what all things to do, etc. Second, talk to your boss, talk to HR, put the date and say, ask them whether that is confirmed. Are they asking you to leave 1 year before? Right? If they're willing to give you, say, 6 months salary and ask you to go today, it may be more efficient. So just find out, talk to HR and find out. Talk to your family, talk to your wife, talk to your children if they're still living with you. Even if they've retired, even if they've left the house, involve them, talk to your neighbors, see whether you can do something more useful in your cooperative society where you live, etc. So, right, so people around you can have the date in advance saying, this date in 2023 or this date in 2024 I'm retiring, and if you've been an accountant, if you've been in an administrative position, maybe there is some role that you can play here also. So step one, make the checklist. Step two, talk to your boss, talk to your HR, talk to your family, talk to your wife and children, right? Talk to your friends. Make a list of your schoolmates, friends, create a Facebook group. I may be sounding old fashioned, but create your Facebook group, create your WhatsApp group, create different groups. Create a group for, say, travel. If you like travel and your school group does not like travel, and you've never traveled with your school group, you don't know how it is going to be. So create your travel group, create your recreation group. Maybe you play golf, maybe you run, maybe you do cycling. So create your cycling group, your walking group, your running group, your travel group, your school group, your class group, your college, whatever. All these groups, somewhere they should be available on WhatsApp, somewhere they should be available on Facebook, so that if you want to plan something, you will be able to do that. Growing up with these people, you enjoyed your life from, say, in your 20s to your 60s, or somebody whom you met in your 40s to your 60s, because the intensity with which a relationship develops does not matter about the time. There could be somebody whom you met 2 years ago and are very good friends, and somebody whom you met 20 years ago, you're not even on, I mean, you're hi, hello types, and you're not really on great terms, right? So all these can happen. So see the intensity, see what all you want to do, which means you're planning your day. You know that you want to go get up in the morning, maybe go to the gym, go for a swim, go for a run, go for a walk, whatever it is. So plan your days. Don't just hope that one day when you retire you will do this for this. Maybe take 1 week off as soon as you retire to plan, but plan your day and have the discipline to say, I at 7 a.m. I'll be doing this, at 5 p.m. I'll be doing this. Have some kind of a framework to what you want to do. Maybe you want to sleep in the afternoon, whatever, build it in and build an approximate schedule. Remember, you don't have to stick to it, but you have to know approximately what you will do, because if you don't know that, you're going to get very bored, right? It's not just about money. Also understand one thing, I realize that people talk a lot about money for retirement, but after they retire, money is the last thing that they're talking about. It's a lot of small things. I do a separate video on that, perhaps. But and remember, it is also about money, but it's also about what else you want to do. Then migrate all your personal email, etc., whether it is your investments or whatever. If you have always kept at company.com, Subra at xyzcompany.com, I have to migrate that to a Gmail or whatever. I mean, I can think of Gmail because I am on Gmail. So migrate all that, because you may have to do your KYC to get all your mutual funds in one shot. So just go and do your KYC, change your email ID. If your phone is a company given phone, are they going to allow you to keep the number, or are they going to ask you to migrate to a personal number? If yes, if you have to have your personal number, 18 months is a good time before when you should be buying your new connection and a new phone, because the company is going to ask you to give up this existing arrangement that you have with them, right? So make sure that you do that. Migrate to a password manager. Now if you have been a person in a very senior post, the chances are you know almost nothing about your life the way your secretary knows. If that is true, then it is time you learn how your investments are made, how it is redeemed, right? You may not know any of those things. I know company CEOs whose secretaries do everything for them, right? So in such cases you have to learn what all to be managed. So you have to manage all these things, make sure that your documentation right, make sure that your bank account, if it is a salaried account, all your payments like your electricity bill and telephone bill, everything is going from there. Make sure that you shift it to a card that you're going to carry. If your company has given you a card, that card is not going to be carried, and you may not have been using that, but see whether you're going to continue this card. What if it's an expensive card? What if it costs 15,000 rupees per year to have the card and gives you good lounge access? Well, if you're not going to travel, maybe you don't need lounge access, right? So see what kind of a card that you want, transition on that card, update your profile data in social websites, on LinkedIn, whatever. And you don't need to do it now, but you need to have this on your checklist saying, oh, I need to do this, right? uh, Create your investment retirement paycheck, right? So bucket number one, bucket number two, bucket number three. I've done enough number of talks about retirement buckets. So your withdrawals will come from bucket number one or bucket number three, depending on your comfort level with the equity market. So design your paycheck, sit with your wife, find out how much you're spending. I'm assuming that you've been tracking your spending at least for a year, because if you have not been tracking, then you will have no clue how much you're going to spend, right? So assuming that that is also being done, migrate a lot of things to your personal thing. What I see people do is they have a calendar which they share with their colleagues, where they put all their treks, picnics, private vacations, everything into that. If you have been doing that, you have to migrate to a personal calendar, maybe a Gmail calendar, but you have to migrate all your stuff, right? Go, if you are a salesperson and you've been traveling around, take time off to meet some of your let's say you're working in Bombay and you're making a trip to Delhi. Go and make sure that you meet all your vendors or your dealers, whoever you've been dealing with. If they, go and meet them, say bye bye, start saying your goodbyes to outstation people, because you may not make one more trip to Delhi just to say goodbyes, unless you're a CEO and your company wants you to do that. That's a different thing. But at your level, if you can't create trips, then you better use your trips and say this could be my last trip. So say your bye byes to the local office, maybe Delhi office, Calcutta office, Chennai office, Bangalore office, and whatever, wherever you have offices. If people are known to you, if you know them, you work with them, then you better go and meet and just be pleasant and say bye bye and give your new number and email ID, whatever personal email ID, do all that. Sit down with your HR and find out how it should be your health insurance plan. Sit with a good agent and plan it. Please, for heaven's sake, it's not that I'm trying to support a community of agents, but in health insurance is difficult to buy, right? Medical insurance or health insurance. How much base insurance, how much of top up, how much super top up, from where to buy, right? Today you get a 1 crore insurance for 8 9,000 rupees, but I'm convinced that that is an entry predatory pricing. It will go from 8 to 10 to 12 to 17 to 22 over the next 5 years. So that is bound to happen, but now it's available. So sit and check out all that. Sit with your HR and find out whether you are entitled to any pension. If you are entitled to pension, what happens to the corpus once you die? Very many companies have a superannuation by LIC for so there you get a fixed stipend, sorry, first pension, but that is not indexed. And at the end of your life, when you die, you will get that as a lump sum, right? So maybe you're getting only the 15,000 rupees, 18,000 rupees pension, but at the end of it you may be having something like 25 lakhs lump sum available. So make sure that your family knows that money, right? Knows about that money. Now is the time when you can start dreaming and work less. But believe me, retirement is not as you think. It's not going to be so great. You'll have a lot of chores to do around the house. You will right from making your bed, which you were anyway doing, to smaller things which your wife will say you can surely do this, and you'll maybe start cutting vegetables, maybe buying vegetables, whatever it is. Find out your schedule and make sure that you do that. So You 60 is too late to start a hobby. Well, that's what you think. Well, I know somebody who started cycling at the age of 70. So it's not nothing which is too, yeah, it's never too early or ever too late to plan for retirement. So if you're not ever planned, you'll still have to plan and see how it lives. If you plan, well, good for you. But creating a hobby is not very easy, but see whether you can create a hobby for yourself. Address all your retirement housing. Where are you going to stay from the age of 60 till the age of 75? From the age of 75 to 85, where are you going to live? 85 and beyond, are you going to need geriatric care? If you need geriatric care, where are you going to seek it? Make all that a very broad plan and sit and discuss with your spouse and children, right? So the ideal thing is your son might say, I'm in Bangalore, why don't you buy a house next to me? Which makes a lot of sense, because ultimately if it's your son who's going to help you during your old age and you have one son, then it makes sense to stay near him so that you're not inconveniencing him trying to help you, right? Buy all your retirement toys. It could be your camera, a new laptop if you've been using a company laptop. Buy a good phone. Don't cringe on all these things, because your phone is anyway useless beyond 3 4 years, but you still need to buy a good phone which is for whatever purposes that you want to have it, right? So address all those things, and that will make your retirement little better. All your new old cars to be replaced, new cars, company may give you the car at book value, whatever. Ask, because normally when HR sends a budget, we don't sorry, when sends an email, especially with attachment, we don't even look at it. So go and find out what you can get. Can you get health insurance? Can you tag along for 5 years into your company's insurance? Ask, and then you will get a correct answer, right? So make a retirement budget of your time, make a retirement budget of your money that you have, the money that you're going to spend, right? Start saying your goodbyes, and put a countdown app on your phone, which would say 364 days to retirement. Then every day you can look at it and smile, and then your mind starts playing game. Okay, there are 364 days, but 64 days are holiday, so I only have 300 days for retirement, so call it 300 days to retirement, whatever it is. Start preparing all this so that life at retirement becomes simpler. Thank you.